Greetings, it's Ian from RTO here. Welcome to Marathon Ranking Day, the day where we take on them big catalogues. And today we have got a viewer's request. Now I think this came up in a live stream about Aswad, and someone said something about it, he added it in, but we never remember seeing who did it. So Aswad, band that are sort of like a bit of reggae. They're a British reggae group, and notice finding a strong R&B and soul influences into the music as well. And they've been performing since the mid-1970s. Now, the original members of Aswad are UK descendants of immigrants from Jamaica. They attended the John Kelly Holland Park School and formed in 1975 in the Ladbroke Grove area of West London. Now, the original members of Aswad were guitarist and vocalist Brinsley Shaka B. Ford, drummer vocalist Angus Drummy Zeb Gale, lead vocalist and guitarist Donald D. Griffiths, bassist George Ras Oban, and keyboardist Courtney Karki Hemmings. And Aswad were the backing band of Burning Spear's live album as well, that recorded at the Rainbow Theatre in London. Other contributors in the band are Van Gordon and Carl Peterson, and overall they have released 14 albums. So let's have a look at some Aswad. So coming in at number 14 is their 14th and most current album, released in 2009, and it is called City Lock. On here we've got Tony Gadd Robinson on bass and vocals, Brinsley Dan Ford on lead vocals and rhythm guitars, and Angus Drummy Zeb Gale on vocals and drums. So the first track on here is a thing called Natural Progression. It's more of a dance song, this version. There's two versions of this. We'll talk about it more, but I don't like the dancey version of it at all. Keep It Raw. It's not too bad. It's got that classic sort of reggae beat to it. Yeah, it's not too good. Then they do a version of Howard Jones's What Is Love, and I wouldn't have bothered because it just doesn't sound right. Once Is Not Enough. They've become more dancey and rappy in their later albums. I'm not a big fan of that at all. City Lock is more rap than reggae. Call-In, not too bad. It's got some bit soulful, this one is. Weary, the best track on here. This is proper reggae. It's got a sort of feel to it. Good track. Monday Morning, it's not too bad. It's pleasant enough. Maybe Tonight, too much rapping on this and dance, not for me a bit. And Roots Rockin' too much dance. It's a very dancey record. Dub It, I'm not into dub and I don't like that. Give Me All Your Love, it's alright. Do That Thing, no, it's not very good. African Children, too much going on. Very busy, but there is a better version of this. I don't know. I think they're trying to keep up with the times, and you know, when they were doing their soulful reggae and that, there was pretty good stuff. But this is more dance, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 4 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 13 from 1984, we have Rebel Souls. Now on here we have got Angus Gale, Brinsley Ford and Tony Gadd Robinson. First track on here is In My Father's House. It's reggae, but the drums are very 1984. And it just didn't mix. Rebel, very 80s. The horrible production had even reached reggae, soul music. It just doesn't fit. Then we have 54 46 was my number. A good track. It's got a proper reggae beat to it. It's not got none of that smoothness on it, and it's pretty decent vocals as well. Just a Little Herb, one of the better tracks on here. It's got some horns on it. It works. Rainfall Sunshine is a little bit different. It sort of works. And then we got Mercy Mercy Me. It's got some great reggae beat, but they put this horrible 80s saxophone, you know, like the George Michael Careless Whisper sort of sound. It doesn't work. You Can't Show Me. The guitar in this is very 80s. Synthy sound doesn't mix again. Gave You My Love. It's got an 80s synth in a reggae sound. It doesn't work for me. I Asked the Question. Now this is more like it. It's got a proper sort of keyboard, reggae keyboard in it, and it works. I like that. Need Your Love Each and Every Day. And then we got Chasing the Breeze, more 80s pop than reggae. You know, even the producers thought they'd have a bash at making 80s smooth reggae, and it just doesn't really work for me. There's one or two tracks on here that are quite good, and I'm sure if they took away all the 80s nonsense, we'd have some decent tracks, but we haven't. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 4.4. Okay, coming in at number 12 from 1997, it's Big Up. First track is called One Shot Chiller, featuring UK Apache. Just don't like this track. It's too dancey. Not my thing at all. Danger In Your Eyes. This one's okay. It's got the classic sort of reggae piano and drums and horns. It's pretty good. I don't mind that. Runaway. It's not too bad, I suppose. Then we do a very bad version of Roxanne by the Police. Yes. Lay This On You. It's so far away from reggae, it's unbelievable. It's just a dance track. If I Was, one of the better albums on here. It's got that proper bit reggae vibe to it. Push, very plastic, generic pop. Doesn't just ring a bell for me. Ring It. Now it's a sort of reggae. It's got the vibe, but it's more dance. And then we have a great little track, my favourite. It's called Babe. It's got that proper reggae and the horns. It's very Caribbean. I like that. Get a Grip. It sounds like a song just from a boy band and then a reggae band. Hurry Love. It's got sort of a reggae tone to it. Give them that one. What I Know. Almost a proper reggae song except for a drum machine. God knows what that's there for. Without Love, again, it's near enough there, but they put a drum machine on it. Golden Boy, they put a dance drum beat on top of a reggae rap. It just doesn't suit. Again, an album that's more emphasis on dance than reggae. It's a shame, really, because there are some songs here that could actually work. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 4.5. Okay then, coming in at number 11 from 1988, we have Distant Thunder. On here we have got The Message is the first track, and it's a single that was already done by Simonade or Simade. Very different from the original, but it's a very good effort. It's got a nice thing. Then there's a big hit, Don't Turn Around, which is a Tina Turner song. It's not bad. It's not got the same punch as Tina's version, but yeah, this is a half decent one. Set Them Free. It's gone all 80s again. Alright. Smoky Blues. Now, I've heard a live version of this and it's much better. It's got that horrible 80s drum beat on it. I Can't Get Over You. The drum machines, I just don't like drum machines on reggae. It just doesn't work. It just gives it a different sound. But my favourite track on here is Give a Little Love. It's got a proper sort of, it's a nice little reggae track. It's a very traditional track and they've done it justice. Tradition, not too bad. It's got a reggae beat more than the pop of the 80s. Feelings is sort of a reggae song, but it's got too much 80s production on it. International medley, this is more like it. It's got a proper sort of reggae beat to it. It's great vocals, excellent track. Bittersweet, again, it sounds not too bad. Justice, the worst track on here is just electronic tom-toms that just don't fit. I just don't know what record producers or what they were trying to prove here. I mean, it's very commercial sounding as well. I know they wanted to get with the beat, but they went right away from what they were supposed to be. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 4.6, although the fans like this, so you can't win them all. Okay, coming in at number 10. This was released in 2002. And it's called Cool Summer Reggae, and this album features re-recordings of some of their hits plus cover versions. It was given the what they call the commercial Aswad treatment. So playing on here is Tony Robinson, Brinsley Ford and Angus Gay. Ian Ritchie plays tenor saxophone, Pete Thomas on the trombone. So the first track of the year is a cover of Gregory Isaac's Night Nurse. Very similar to the original. It's not a bad version, actually. Good Thing Going by Michael Jackson, of course, and it's not a very good version of it. They put Roxanne on here by the Police again. I don't like it at all. Then a re-recorded version of Don't Turn Around. It's a little bit better than that one on Distant Thunder. It's out of the two versions, this is the better one. It's gone away from that 80s sound. But the best cover on here is their version of Bob Marley and the Wailers' Stir It Up. Classic from Bob. And they do a really, really good version of it. Lifted by the Whitehouse family. It doesn't work as a reggae track. Then they do Uptight. Again, it doesn't work. You know, the Stevie Wonder classic. Would I Lie to You? It's all right. Doesn't really. It's from Charles and Eddie. Would I Lie to You? It sounds a little bit off. And then we have Weather With You, a Crowded House song. It's a very it's a very different interpretation of the song. It's all right. Searching, original done by China Black. I think this is a better version than China Black's. It's a very good version. You Don't Love Me, No, No, No. Dawn Penn done this, and I think they've done a really good version of this. Dancing in the Moonlight, which was King Harvest. Great song, but this is awful. Then they do Johnny Nash's I Can See It Clearly Now. It's not a bad version of this, but you can't beat the original. And Shy Guy featuring Esther Bennett. I've not a problem with this. It's probably a good version. And then we have a live version of Smokey Blues, and two makes one. Some good songs on here. Some worked as reggae, some didn't. So I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 5 out of 10. Okay then, coming in at number 9. Album from 1994, Rise and Shine. We've got Angus on here, Brinsley and Tony. First track is Day by Day. Once again, there's not much soul or reggae. It's a more of a dancey thing. It's not too bad. It's one of the better their songs like this. Then they have Shine, and I quite like this. It's the best song on the album. Then we got Fever. Very reggae except the drumming. Two Makes One. The live version of this is much better. This is Plastic with a horrible drum beat. Warriors Charging. I don't know what the vocals, I mean the beat to it's got that real nice soulful reggae sound that they're good at, but the vocal doesn't match. World of Confusion. One of the better tracks on, it's got a nice beat to it. Picking Up. It's got some intricate drumming on this and doesn't sound like anything like reggae. Give Me Some Reason. I've turned a reggae song into a dancey song and it just doesn't work for me. Deeper Than Deep. This is more like it. The drumming's got that hollowness, that hollow sound that you associate with reggae. I like that drumming on that. Not So Good. Pretty good track. It's got more of a soulful feel to it. Heartbeat doesn't do anything, it's just awful. Lay Down My Troubles. It's got that proper reggae beat on this one. Yeah, it's got some good tracks on it, but they're certainly more interested in playing with drum machines than drums, which doesn't right with me, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 5.3. Okay, coming in at number 8 from 1990, the album Too Wicked. Angus Brinsley and Tony. First track on here is called Fire, and it's more dance and dub and rap. Not what I like. Next to You, again, it's too much dancing for me. Best of My Love. Now we get some reggae with a bit of soul in there. This is more like it. I like that track. It's got a bit more groove to it. Confidential. It's got a reggae beat, but then they put in this dance and dub sort of drum beat on it, which sort of spoils it a little bit. Got On My 5 Mile Way. I like the bit in the middle. I love the instrumental bit in this. Pretty cool. Just Can't Take It. One of the best tracks on this album. It's got that real reggae drum beat with that lovely keyboard you associate with reggae. Dancing on My Own. It's okay. Smile. I don't mind this. It's got a nice reggae sound to it like that. Love Won't Leave Me. It's got too much dubbing for me. I'm not very keen on that one. Got to get to Loving You. Don't mind this one. Got a pretty good beat to it. Old Farsight. My favourite track on this. I love the horns on this. It's got a proper reggae feel. It's got that Caribbean feel to it. Hang On Baby. I like the keyboards in this. It's really good. Yeah, a bit of a mixed bag, this one. Get rid of the dubby dance stuff, but the reggae tracks are pretty cool, so I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 5.5. And it's time for a drink. Yeah, there's lots of background noises on this because Rocky is, I don't know if he's got ants in his pants, but he can't settle this morning. He's now under my feet and laying on him. Anyway, let's get back to Aswad. Okay, coming in at number 7 from 1986 to the top. Again, Angus, Brinsley and Tony. First track on this one is Pull Up. It's got a bit of that mid-80s feel to it, but the roots are there for the reggae sound and it's not too bad. Wrapped Up. I like this. It's got a nice groove, some nice horns on it as well. Bubbling. Another good track. Plenty of horns. Gives it that sort of summer feel to it. Excellent track. Then we have Nobody With It. Good track. Again, it's got that groove. I like a little bit of groove. Nuclear Soldier is the next track. My favourite track on here, it's got a nice reggae tone to it. Cool No, or Cool No. It's one of them songs that you associate with white sand, palm trees, blue seas. Yeah, it's the sort of thing I like to listen to when I'm laying on a beach in the Caribbean. Star of my show, it's got a nice grub reggae groove to it, like that one. Hooked on You. Excellent. Now, for an 80s album, this has got a better groove than Rebel Souls. It's really good. They've gone back to the basic sound on here, and I don't mind it, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 6 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 6 from 1999, Roots Revival. Yeah, it's the 3 of them again, so I won't. We know who's on here. So the first track is The Best Times of Our Lives. I like this. It's got a nice real reggae drum into it. Love that. Freedom Street, the vocals on here are great from the 3 of them. The organ and the horns do add it to that real Caribbean flavour. Caution, my favourite track on here. It's got some nice reggae guitar on it. Absolutely brilliant. Boom Boom Carnival. It's very uplifting. Really sort of carnival feel to it. Caribbean Carnival. Follow 99's the next. Classic reggae with them drums, that hollow. Great vocal as well. Great track. Take It Easy. Very uplifting reggae tune. Roots Revival. Very solid. It's 1999's reggae. Very good. Breakout. The trumpets on this just add to the groove. Really good track. Peace Truce. Probably the weakest track on here. It's not one of my favourites. My Love. My second favourite track on here. It's just solid roots reggae. Thank You Lord. I love the drumming on this. That hollow sound. The tap on the rims. Excellent track. Then they have another go at a police song, Invisible Sun, and no. Then The Best Times of Alive again, a little bit off. I don't know what it was. Not the best version of that song. On the whole, it's a great album. Got some proper reggae on this, so I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 6.5. Okay, we're moving into the top 5, and these are probably my favourite albums, and I know about these albums, and they're pretty cool. So coming in at number 5 from 1979, we have Hulet. It's got Angus, Brinsley, Dennis, and on the bass we've got Raz. And the first track is Behold. I love the drums on this. It's that typical start of a reggae track with that nice hollow sound, some excellent singing, excellent track. Sons of Criminals. I don't like the electronic start, but then it goes into that reggae guitar, and the bass is absolutely brilliant from Raz on this. Brilliant track. Judgment Day, that lovely reggae guitar riff that I do like. Love the singing on this. Another great bass line. Not Guilty. The drums and the bass really drive this song. I love that hollow drum sound that you get on reggae. Can't Walk the Streaks. A bit of a gong at the beginning, and then you get that. Brilliant. Corruption. The start that doesn't really start, and the start of this is really funny. You don't know what's going on there, and then it just goes into that lovely soulful sound that they created. Excellent track. Playing Games. Again, it's got a great solo on it. It's a sort of soulful reggae track. Do like it. And then the title track is an instrumental called Hulet, or the Hulet, the title track. Great track. Nice keyboards and guitars. Such a chill out tune. Great track album this is. I love their older stuff, and I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 6.6. Okay, coming in at number 4 from 1981, we have New Chapter. Playing on here is Angus Brinsley and Tony. First track is African Children. Now this is remember they had that one with the drum beat and the dance version. This is the proper version, and it is fast. Much better. Love this track. Natural progression. Remember on City Lock how they turned it into a dance track? The original is brilliant. It's got more of that soulful sound on it, like that. Ways of the Law, a nice chill out track. Love the drumming on this. I Will Keep On Loving You. The bass line is brilliant on this. I like that track. He Gave the Sun to Shine, a great little number. Again, great bass and drum. The smoothness of that guitar really is tough. Tough We Tough. The proper soulful reggae sound, like that hollowness of the drums, it really works for me. Didn't know at the time. I wouldn't say, it's a little bit repetitive, this one, not my favourite track. Zion, there are some interesting sounds on this one. The keyboard is a bit freaky in places. In Your Rights, lovely bit of saxophone on here and horns. It really works. It shouldn't, but it does. Excellent track. Candles, got that classic drum at the beginning, along with that hollowness. The bass line comes in and you just groove away. Love Fire, the last track. This is their sort of R&B sort of coming in. This is, I think, one of the first tracks that soulful sound started coming in. Pretty solid album. You got a rough idea which direction they were going to go down, but I do like this album, and I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 3 is an album they made in 1985, and they did it with reggae star Shaka, and it's Shaka meets Aswad in Addis Ababa studio. Came out in 1985. So the first track, these are all instrumentals. The first track is called Addis Ababa. Sorry. Love the bass and piano in this. It's just a brilliant, groovy reggae track. Then we get Shaka Special. The drumming is just brilliant on this. You got a wonderful bass line as well. Super stuff. Aswad Special. I find this one a little bit boring. It's repetitive. It's got it needs a little bit more oomph behind it. But then we have Rocker's Delight. This is so relaxing. The piano work on this track is super. With a great little bit of drum and bass on there. Drum Dub. I've always liked reggae drumming. It's got a different sort of beat to it. I love, it's totally beach holiday music. This is really like that. Behold HIM, love this as well. The horns really brought to it. It's sort of the music you hear on Death in Paradise sort of thing. It's really good. And then the last track, Creation, sort of continues on from Behold Him. The groove on this is brilliant. I love this. Now I was pretty impressed with this. It's got some really uplifting tracks. It's got some relaxing tracks with some nice tones on it. Really good album, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.2. Okay, coming in at number 2 from 1982 is Not Satisfied. So once again, it's Angus Brinsley and Tony. First track on this is called Oh Yeah. Really like this upbeat horns. I love that sort of groove. Drum and bass line. It's just a great drum and bass piece. It really got a nice groove to it. I really enjoyed that one. Not Satisfied, not too bad. This is one of them tracks that sort of the changeover. They're starting to bring in more of the soul, and it really works. Good little track. Reality, love the guitar in this. Absolutely stunning guitar, reggae guitar, absolutely brilliant. Then we have African Children Part 2. It's the dullest track on here, but the guitar work does give it a little bit of lift. past the cup. This is more soulful. They're adding more soul into their reggae. It's not too bad. I Need Your Love, my favourite track on here. This has got that a very fusion track. It's got a soulful feeling with a reggae beat. Some great horns on that. No More Living a Lie, a pretty good track. Lots of roots reggae on this. Excellent track. Down the Line. Again, we've got a lovely groove to this one. The singing on this album is pretty good as well. Your Recipe, one of the best bass lines on the album with a nice bit of trumpet on it. You can't go wrong. Girls Got to Know, another solid track. The only thing I don't like is the repetitive of the line, Girls Got to Know. I think this is probably the last sort of more reggae album until 1999. The soulful 80s was coming in. But this is pretty solid, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.3. But my number one album has to be their debut album, just called Aswad, from 1976. So you've got Tony Robinson, Brinsley, Ford, Angus, Gale, Donald Griffiths is on this, Courtney Hemmings plays keyboards, and Ras Oban on the bass. Opens up with one of my favourite tracks by Aswad, I'm a Rebel Soul. Absolutely stunning track. Such a groove. Love this. Then we've got my favourite track, and probably my favourite track by Aswad, and it's called Can't Stand the Pressure. It's got everything I like about reggae on here. A great groovy bass line, that hollow drum sound, that little bit of guitar with that chink, the keyboard that just keeps coming in and out of it. Absolutely brilliant track. Next track is Ethiopian Rhapsody. Bass is wonderful. It's quite progressive as well. There's some bit of harmonica on here. It's a little bit different and it works. Great track. Then we get another version of Natural Progression. This one's a more simple, laid back, and it's probably my favourite version of this track. Back to Africa, more fantastic guitar work on this. The keyboard I like how it just randomly comes in and just adds to it. Red Up, the best bass line on the album. That upward sort of ching on the guitar riff, brilliant. Ira Woman, proper hot, that classic sort of start to a reggae track with the drums. That hollowness, that echoiness is brilliant. Got the groove, it's runs in great vocal as well. And then Concrete Slave Ship, one of the interesting tracks. This has got I love this. It's that basic piano that really adds to it. I think this is a great British reggae album. It's very underrated. Definitely their best album. It's purely their reggae roots here and their diverse sort of music. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.5. So there we go. A little bit of Aswad to brighten up your day. So that's all for today, but tomorrow we have got a very busy day. We've got, of course, the live stream, but first up it's a bit different tomorrow. There's no Battle Royale in the morning. There is a good reason. So I'm going to do part 2 of the Neil Young story and his one-off album from the 60s, Neil Young. And then we've got Painting by Numbers, where we look at the album work, and we're going to look at the studio album work and live albums of Black Sabbath. And then about at 6 o'clock tomorrow night, the draw for the quarterfinals of Battle Royale will be up on the channel, and then we'll have a live stream. So have a great day, everyone, and bye for now.